This is Soniera Lynn, and you are now listening to the Anime Assembled podcast with your host, Indy Uchiha and John Forsaken Power.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, John Forsaken Powers, here today by myself without my co-host, Indy Uchiha, for the Dragon Ball Daima Episode 2 review. In terms of this episode, to be completely honest, there wasn't a whole lot of action, so to speak, like you would see with a traditional Dragon Ball. You know, you always kind of correlate Dragon Ball with action and fighting. Today was not one of those days, of course. But in lieu of that action, we did receive a lot of information. We did get a lot of revelations and a lot of background information regarding the world, which I found very interesting how everything kind of weaves together into making the story happen for Dragon Ball Daima. One thing that I do want to highlight, at least, that I found very interesting was the correlation between one of the newer characters, Degisu, and how he fits and how he relates to pre-existing characters. As we know from this episode, we find out that Degisu is actually the Supreme Kai Shin's younger brother. And I'm curious as to, at least in terms of their relationship, from how the interactions in episode 1 as well as episode 2, I'm curious to see what's all going on with their relationship, just because in episode 1 we know Degisu has a very almost hatred or disgust for his older brother when he actually sees the video of him. And when in episode 2, Shin, when he hears his younger brother's name, of course he was surprised at the fact that he was having his brother referenced, but it also seemed almost like a concern or worry at the fact that he was involved in the capture of Dende. So I'm curious, because, brothers, they tend to, obviously siblings, they usually like each other, right? They're family and everything. But it seemed, based on this initial information that we've gotten through these last 2 episodes, that there's obviously some type of rift or something happened between these 2 brothers that have caused this relationship to get murky. So I'm curious, is it more so the younger brother upset at the fact that his older brother left him in the demon realm to go out to the outer realm and then ended up becoming a Supreme Kai? Maybe he's jealous of, the stature that his older brother got, and simply just because he left him? Or did something result in Shin actually having to leave? He forcibly had to leave the demon realm and go out to the outer realm, not only to become the Supreme Kai, but maybe that was just simply a matter of fact that happened after he left. Maybe that wasn't his initial reason for actually leaving the demon realm. Maybe something happened that made that result happen for him. So I'm curious to see how that all plays out. I'm sure they're going to dive into it, because Toei Animation and the story writers and everything like that, they always give us beautiful stories when it comes to Dragon Ball, minus GT. But besides the point, I'm really curious to see how that pans out. Going on with the new characters, we did get a new character introduced towards the, I guess, second half of the episode. We got to meet this gentleman named Glorio, and apparently he is trying to defeat Goma, the new demon king of the demon realm. So what I find interesting is when he first introduced himself, he says that he was advised by the 3rd demon king to come and find Goku. But obviously, we don't know if that's actually true or not. We have to take it at face value, but we can infer a few things similar to how the Supreme Kai did. He's very alert against Glorio and saying, how come he wasn't surprised at the fact that we're young, and Goku obviously kind of just brushes it off, saying, oh, well, maybe the 3rd Demon King told him so. But I think that there is more, just like the Supreme Kai thinks. I think there's more going on to that, especially because in episode 1, if you were paying real close attention to the background, they did kind of try to focus on it. But we do see Glorio behind a pillar as Goma and Degisu are watching the videos and everything like that. So I'm curious what is his relationship to Degasu and Goma, as well as maybe even to obviously what he's going to be to the Z Fighters and the Supreme Kais and everything like that go on this adventure to the Demon Realm. Is he actually friend? Is he foe? Is he something in between? No, I'm not quite entirely sure. We're gonna have to see more information just because we didn't get a whole lot in regards to how he's going to play out, but I am excited to see it nonetheless. Obviously, I'm thinking he's going to be a good guy, especially given of how prevalent he is in the opening and ending scene or videos for the episodes. So that at least in terms of the characters, I do find those two things interesting. One last thing I did find interesting was the fact that they kind of as you're going through this episode, while they're prepping to actually go on this adventure to the Demon Realm, they kind of gave a nostalgia trip to all of the OG fans. We get to see, obviously, we see the Lookout all the time, but we got to see Korin's Tower. We got references to the Flying Nimbus and the Nyoibo, or the Power Pole. And so, we got to have those cute little interactions, as well as, kind of a lot of funny moments in regards to that, and just Goku's free-spiritedness. I did also appreciate the fact that even though it was wished that they were younger, or their bodies were younger and their minds are still intact, I do appreciate the fact that Goku isn't just still OP as ever. He actually has to train to adjust to this new body, versus in GT it wasn't kind of the same. It was kind of, he was young and he could just do everything, kind of, so to speak. He very minimal training, but at least here, he's struggling to even fly, but obviously after some training he's getting used to it and stuff. But at least that little tidbit was very nice for me, just because it kind of pulls it away. Like, what was the point of even making him younger if he's just going to be able to do everything right from the get-go, right? So mad props to that. I do really appreciate the fact that they did kind of give us that nostalgia trip going through Earth, at least at this moment, seeing all of the OG stuff, like and just references. I'm curious to see how everything's going to go in terms of their adventure to the Demon Realm, because that's coming in the next episode. But they split off into two groups essentially, so I'm curious how those two groups are going to ultimately end up linking up once they arrive in the Demon Realm, or are they going to wait, which Goku never does because he's impatient. He wants to fight everybody and their grandmother. So I'm curious to see what's all going on with that as well. But let me know what you guys thought about episode 2. Was it slow for you? Did you appreciate the information, at least the recapping, so to speak, of what all transpired? What was your favorite moments? What are your theories as to what's going to happen and what happened in the story? Do you think Glorio's a good guy, a bad guy? Do you think maybe he's off on his own doing his own thing? Let us know in the comments. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, everything and anything imaginable that you possibly do. We do greatly appreciate it every single time that you do so. But till next time, this has been Anime Assembled, John Forsaken Powers, and have a good one, everybody.